Well, there it is. Hello there, this is WTii and this is another Starcraft 2 commentary. This is a 1v1 on the map Steps of War and it's between... Oh, I didn't realise I put this on times 8, look at that. Anyway, this is just a quickie really, and it's between myself, playing as the blue Protoss, against CaHek. CaHek! I don't know if that's really how you would say it, but I'm going to say it that way anyway. And he's the red Terran in the top right position. Some probe harass going down here. A lot of players like to basically keep their probes as live as possible and not lose any health points. But as long as your probe is alive, that's the main thing. If it does drop a couple of health points, it's not the biggest deal, especially if it can get a kill from that. So at this point, there's not much I can do with that probe, apart from just be a nuisance in general. I'm not sure what this is about. Maybe he's scouting for like proxy pylons. Yeah, he's looking for like the either side. You will definitely want to do this if whatever race you are. Look at the size of your base, etc. I mean, that's just standard scouting knowledge. Here we can see I've put down a gateway. That's about 12 gateway, 12, 13. All good. Obviously that's the 12 barracks. So actually I'd argue that that gateway is more like 13. Yeah. And of course the assimilator to boot. Now I haven't blocked off my ramp because I never do this if I know I'm against a Terran player. Now that's the tricky thing, is I'm going to give you a little educational tip here, is if you are against a random player and you're playing as Protoss, make sure you put the pylon about here. So, that way, or about just about as far back as you can whilst being able to build buildings in the front, because that way, if your enemy is Zerg, you can block it off with a gateway and then a cybernetics core, or a gateway, and you can have this tight choke here. And if they're Terran or Protoss, then you can build it slightly further back, but still make sure it's in front of the pylon. But at least that way, your pylon isn't exposed, and you have some sort of way to defend against Zerg, if they do happen to be Zerg. But yeah, if you're against Protoss or Terran, I generally like to keep my buildings back, because from what I've experienced, casting games and such, and just playing games in general, it doesn't pay off too much to build your Protoss buildings right at the edge of your ramp, because it's so easy to get sniped by ranged Terran units or ranged Protoss units. Against Zerg, no biggie. It's alright. So I'm just doing a cheap, well, you know, economical build here. Gateway and another gateway when I can do Stalker coming out just to harass and get some sort of presence on the ground. You know, not much can take the Stalker on right at the start until you've got a couple of... What the hell was that about? Actually, I'm just going to redo that. The hell did he do there? That threw me off. So yeah, just standard build. Right. What? I just missed it again. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. Right, I'm not moving now. Right, here we go. So we see a factory being built. Stalkers. It's a barracks. And he cancels it. Did you see that? It looked like it actually blew the SCV away. Whoa! Explosions. Anyway, yeah, I'll grow up now. So we can see a pylon coming up here. Can you guess what's going to be built there? Quickly, pause the game and write down what you think is going to be built there. No cheating. Well, of course, anyway, if you're going to type it in, you're probably going to see someone else's comment that's actually probably come up with the correct answer. So maybe one person just has to do it. So the Stalker comes up here. He's like, "Hey guys, what's up? How's it going?" Alright, fine. Shoot at me then. So we can see CaHek is going for a very fast Banshee build here because he's got his tech lab. Nothing's being made out of the factory. What's that all about? Oh, well, the Starport's probably going to be swapping around with that factory, and then we can see some Banshees being made. So he's got himself quite a bit of gas, quite a bit of this. Banshees are pretty damn cheap, to be honest. The only issue with them is that they take 60 seconds to build, which is more like 48 seconds of game time. Meanwhile, I'm putting down my Starport. Oh yeah. Now if he really wanted to scout and make sure he doesn't get screwed over in this game, make sure you scout this point if you're at the top, or scout this point if you're at the bottom, if you're against the Protoss. Because currently it's a very strong race. Oh, look at that. Perfect timing for gateways right now, or warp gates. Got all my economy going. I'm building Stalkers as much as I can while still being able to afford void rays. I want 2 void rays before I move out. And obviously just as many Stalkers as I can get. Now the beautiful thing with Protoss is, I mean, I don't even play Protoss that much, and you've got this little in-game timer here so people can practice. I haven't talked about that much. I might cover that in another of my commentaries, but either way, basically, point is Protoss can basically just warp in units until they've got 0 minerals and 0 Thespian gas, and then go. They've got that kind of luxury. So my opponent has already got his Banshee, and the cloak is on the way. The Banshee is snuck round the side. I haven't seen this. It would have been an idea to take the Selnaga tower, so that's an issue. I guess at this point in the game it doesn't hurt to put a probe there, so that was a mistake on my part. Hindsight, innit? So you've got this Banshee with about 70 energy. They only start off with 50 energy, so that cloak is going to run out relatively soon. So just bear that in mind about what happens. So the Banshee's in my base. Right, we pause the game. The Banshee's already starting to harass my base. What do? Do I warp in Stalkers? Perhaps. Or do I just go for it? You know, because a lot of people get distracted and they'll bring everything back. Please, for the love of God, if you're in this situation, do not pull everything back. Alright? You have done basically an all-in, aka I have. I've got my Stalkers right outside his base. I've got my Void Rays ready to go. Last thing I need to do is pull all the way back to my base, because he's going to get lots of free kills and then he can run away. And I get to kill nothing. So, a lot of you might actually make the mistake, so please don't. He's going to kill these probes no matter what I do. I can move them with the minerals and bring them back later. That's going to be annoying for him. But it's still annoying for me because I'm not getting money in. But I've still got a stronger army than him. So this is why I should attack. Plus, if I warped in units, he'll just use his cloak. So not really that useful. I can warp in units just to annoy him and make him concentrate on micro and the Banshee whilst I go in a push. So I think it's worth it for that respect. But I'm not warping in units here thinking that's going to deal with the Banshee full stop. Okay, so let's continue now. So the Banshee's going to get some kills. I see this. I'm like, ah, nice. So we both got very similar army sizes. Going to be warming up my Void Rays on the Destructible Rocks, which is really fucking strong at the moment. Excuse my language. As you can see, they've got super duper damage. So I want to make sure they attack something. Oh no, that was quite a mistake on my part. Let's just pause the game again there. That was interesting. I thought I actually went in there with fully charged Void Rays, so actually this gimped me quite a bit. As you can see, I've got a strong army. He hasn't got anything in this bunker, and I should be able to comfortably take this out as long as I don't lose my Void Rays to the Marines, because that's certainly not something I want to do. I want to keep those Void Rays super strong, super pumped up, doing as much damage as possible. One thing I would have said is what I did wrong here is I assumed that my Void Rays were definitely going to make it to the bunker, and I'm pretty sure they should have, but maybe it's just the way I sent them in the path. But if you're worried about them not making it in time with the full charge on, leave a Stalker here. As soon as they hit about this point, or they've gone like about 3 to 4 seconds distance, attack the Stalker very, very quickly, and then stop. Stalker will lose a bit of shield, but it will still be in fine shape, and your Void Rays should keep their charge. So that's something I should have done here. That way I could have gone into this battle doing basically double the DPS with my Void Rays. So let's continue. Stalkers are now blocked up here in the ramp. They're all getting shots off here, but that's not too bad actually. I was going to commentate on basically how the ones at the back couldn't get to shoot up, but they can actually, so that's not a biggie. Void Rays are in such a good position here. At the moment he's got a cloaked Banshee. That's not a big issue for me because they come out with 50 energy. As you can see, it uses 25 energy to cloak, so already he's only got about 15 seconds left before his cloak runs out. So just walk the Stalkers back, because he's got nothing else to hit my Void Rays with, and try and take out this Starport, because the next thing that's going to be coming out, yes, a Viking. Vikings can definitely take on Void Rays, providing there's no Stalkers about, because of the range. You just hit, move back, and this Void Ray should technically never be able to hit you. Now I can get a free kill in this Banshee, because there's nothing you can do about it. If I just pause the game again, sorry about all this pausing, but I'm trying to be a bit educational with this one, because otherwise it's quite an obvious win really. So yes, my opponent has screwed me over, but I've still I think I just sent all my, no I didn't, I sent some of my probes, surviving probes out here, so I can always bring them back, and I made sure I didn't spend too many more minerals. I didn't have enough gas anyway, otherwise I probably would have spent on another Void Ray or something, but always keep about 100 minerals spare if you're being attacked like this. 400 would be really ideal, because if this had to go into one of those tight situations, I could always expand with those 400 minerals. But thankfully I didn't have to, so he's only got one Banshee here. It's not a biggie. Cloak's about to run out. I'm pretty sure at some point I send that Stalker back to kill it off. And if not, I can still send another Stalker in. So, I think that's enough yapping. Let's continue back with the game. So, he's trying to save up his Marines. And I know this. I could just go in there and be reckless, but main thing is I've got the Stalkers to protect my Void Rays, so I know I'm okay against the Viking. Just get it out of the way. Starport's done. Job done. Void Rays will now easily comfortably take care of these Marines. Now they could probably silo them themselves without the Stalkers, but the Viking is going to be a nuisance. Void Rays keep getting irritated by that Viking, there's no doubt about it, so just make sure that the Stalkers am I getting tongue twisted here? Anyway, make sure the Stalkers cover those Void Rays, and no biggie. Yes, I actually did send that Stalker against the Banshee, but as you can see the Banshee pretty much nailed the Stalker. So he's got quite a lot of resources here, so he probably could have perfected this build a bit better. But hopefully, in all these situations you've seen where you can go right and where you can go wrong, so I'm sure you learned something from it. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, rate and comment.